Hello and welcome to Hellbent Live. My name is Jesse Doyle. This is my frenemy, enemy, lover, Joe Doyle.
Sounds good to me. So
I got to give you all kinds of titles as soon as we come on here. Let us know you can see us and hear us, and we'll get started with the show today. We got a good one. We got a good one. Oh my gosh. 5x5. Thank you, Reverend PC and Miranda Crew, for throwing in there. What is up, guys? This is our Tuesday night show. Tuesday, March the 3rd. A very significant day from what I hear. Dave Navarro was telling us that we had to really pencil off this day.
we'll circle back to that because that was a story that I think, we'll circle back to that.
Circle back to it.
Circle back to that.
I actually posted a screen cap of that post as a post on our YouTube channel, community page and everything, that they were just getting ready for tonight's show. Tonight's show is a big one. I think we have a full moon tonight.
We do a full moon tonight.
We got a lot of stuff moving around here. A lot of things moving around. Today we're going to talk about some breaking news.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. We're
Breaking
talking
news.
some breaking news. But before we get started, let's go ahead and hit some of these. Sabrina Frazier, new member on the channel. I just wanted to say thank you for joining up with the membership, and thank you to our existing members, some of which have been with us for 28 months at this point. And we want to really thank you guys because you are what make this project move forward. You are what makes this project happen. A lot of people have issue with us putting out members video or having a membership, but what we do requires a lot of time, energy, money. We have state-of-the-art equipment. It takes a lot of time to do this. We have very high production value with what we do, and the membership is what keeps us doing that. Joe and I have jobs on top of this as well, and that's why we have the membership. We're able to produce extra stuff for our members as a total thank you and as an exchange of value here, because you guys bring us a lot of value for this.
We're bought off, basically. That's what it is. We're bought off.
We've had to buy so many new batteries and cameras and everything, and that's what the memberships go towards: is batteries, cameras, new equipment.
So for the price of an awkwardly eaten value meal at McDonald's,
oh God,
you could support.
I feel so bad for the McDonald's CEO.
You do not feel bad for a CEO.
I feel so bad.
I'm sure you do. So, all right, Okie, my man Okie, we appreciate you, Okie. Thank you so much. We're going to get all this out the way.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sherry, our buddy Sherry, bringing cat chow and Chex Mix to the party.
Nice.
Let's go. I've got a cat wandering around in here, as a matter of fact.
She circles us like a shark when we do the show. She's just constantly going around the table here while we do the show.
Strange Backcountry, our buddy MK, gifted a membership. I saw who got that, but it's already lost me at this point. And our friend Alchemy, Amy, still not sure how she wants that pronounced.
Alchemy.
Old dude who lives in a falling down house. I'd put that up before I read it. Old dude who lives in a falling down house and gets DUIs and steals mopeds.
Ooh.
Shots fired.
That's a shot
Ain't
fired.
even live. Our buddy Dave got his hat on and ready to roll. And Trista Myers. Trista Myers, one of the OGs too.
Yeah.
OG. 2 full years being a member. Love all you Hellbenders. We love you guys. Miranda Crew, best channel we have found. Love
thank you, Miranda.
Guys.
Miranda's been with us for a very long time. Prior to the memberships and everything, she was here a very, very long time. She's one of our OGs.
Speaking of OGs,
EDP
Everyday Pyro. Over 2 years. Who would have thought it? Always happy to be here. Thank you, guys.
We're happy
we
to have
appreciate you.
We have a really good crew. Good crew.
Our friend Chris Blaylock.
What's up,
Super
Chris?
sticker, $20. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
We
Very cool.
appreciate you.
Chris is in and out of the LBL a lot. We've been talking a lot about the LBL lately. We're hot on the heels of us coming back from the LBL and all the fallout that comes with that. Every time we go, there's always some sort of shaking of the trees. You know what I'm saying? The shaking of the bushes.
One last thing, Larry Sharp, big supporter of the channel. Larry always shares this stuff. Larry. So thank you, Larry. We appreciate you, my friend. So
we have discussed when we got, before we went on this last LBL excursion, that this was going to be our last trip to the LBL. And I think while we were there, we made some new discoveries and revelations, and we decided it's definitely not the last time that we're going to be going to the LBL. But we are certainly going back to the LBL. Patty G, are you all hitting it right now?
They're
Just
all
like
hitting
crazy?
it. They're all hitting it right now. So everybody, there's a good energy in the air tonight, man. Everybody's like fired up. Patty G, another one of the OGs. Here's king of the OGs right here, Cryptic Castleberry.
Castleberry.
Man.
Cryptic Castleberry comes to all of our conferences and stuff that we do, and he hangs out with us. He's a cool dude.
He's a cool guy. All right, what
He's
are you
a
talking
real
about
cool
now?
guy.
What were you talking about?
What are you saying, woman?
What were you talking about?
Oh.
You know where he's going to see us at next? Right?
Is this your segue?
This is your segue. This is your lead up.
Number one, you have stepped on 3 attempts at my segue.
Now I'm setting you up, man. Don't
focus
on the past. Let's look at the future. Look what I'm doing for you now. So,
we're 7 minutes into the show, and
go ahead, knock it.
Joe has stepped on my segue.
You're squandering the one I'm giving you right now. So
in 7 minutes, that's a new record, even for Joe Doyle. Cryptic Castleberry will also see us upcoming at a very special event. As I was saying before, this was not our last trip to the LBL. We are going back to the LBL sometime soon. We're not quite sure when, but we're definitely going back to the LBL November 13th and 14th of this year for, ladies and gentlemen, Lake Barkley Beast Fest. Joe and I will be speaking at Lake Barkley Beast Fest. It'll be held in Eddyville, Kentucky. We are so excited. And look at that. Wait a minute.
Whoa.
Look at those.
Look how tall he is.
He's
My
so
Lord,
tall.
he's so tall.
Look how beautiful she is. My
Oh, it's
God.
beautiful.
Where does she get that skincare
Are these
routine?
people models? So
Oh
anyway.
my God. Well, I'll tell you what we are. We are going to be speakers at the Lake Barkley Beast Fest. We're really excited about this. This is the first annual Lake Barkley Beast Fest. And we're stoked for it. We're really stoked for it. It is put together by the Lake Barkley Tourist Commission. So you have the participation of all of the local businesses in that area. The Joint Barbecue will be providing food for the guests, which is good. We're going to have food trucks, vendors. It's going to be a huge event. We are so excited to go and do this. We have talked with the organizers of this event. We've talked very closely with them, and it looks like we're going to be doing an event, possibly in the LBL on the 13th. That's the Friday before the 14th, which is Saturday, the main event. We are going to be doing an event out there, possibly a hike.
Something
Details will be coming forward. But I think what we're going to do is have a bit of a Hellbent hootenanny alongside of this event. So if you are a Hellbender and you're down to clown for the cause, you can join us at this. We're going to hang out. We're having a good time. Joining us at this event as well is Charlie Raymond.
Sheila, come on spring. Nope, I want winter to last as long as possible. So
Charlie Raymond will also be there, as well as David Wickham, also known as Taters.
Taters.
How do you think you got that Tater name?
That's my nickname in high school. So
that's because you're Irish.
But
and also, don't forget this, Martin Groves will also be joining us.
Martin Groves and Hellbent Holler back together again.
So we're super excited about this event. If you would like more information about the event, let's go back to the main page. I'm going to put this in the chat, and then it's also in the show notes below in the description of the video. You can go to the link below and you'll be able to find more information on Lake Barkley Beast Fest. I think it's really cool that they are doing an event at the LBL, and
the area is leaning into the lore.
It's
leaning into the lore of that so many people associate with that particular area.
And you can see what a success the Uwharrie Bigfoot Festival was. Right after we did the Uwharrie documentary, they did the Uwharrie Bigfoot Festival, and MK attended that, and he said that we couldn't. We had to go out in the woods and continue to go and do our crazy stuff, but we couldn't attend, unfortunately. I think we were at Blackthorn or something, weren't we? But MK went, and he said it was an absolute blast. It was a ruckus event. It was insanely successful. And so we want to make Lake Barkley Beast Fest a success as well. There's going to be information about tickets, lodging, everything coming forward, and we will provide all of that information to you all as we get it. So,
here's why these things are important, especially for something like this, where you have an area like the LBL that is very steeped in the lore and the tradition of like high strangeness, strange phenomena. So you get these you get these things these are just intended by enthusiasts, people who either have a long abiding interest or just a casual interest in it. Why these things are good is it will take people that have like a casual interest and it'll spark that interest.
Yeah.
And maybe even some of them will decide to get involved in the community to a greater degree. We always say the more people you got doing this, the more eyeballs you've got on the subject, the better.
Yeah. Okay. We know our titles are missing. Sorry.
Yeah, we're not doing titles tonight. So, but
we're just playing around with the format of how it all looks. But thank you.
But the other thing too is
they're always paying attention to everything.
I
love it. Everybody's just eyeing this, just eagle eye on everything. I love it. We've got a tight group here, a tight group. Anyway, back to what you were saying, Joseph.
Is that the other thing that's very important about this is that especially in these areas that have more of like the woo factor, the more like mental attention, the more just attention that people pay to these topics in these areas sometimes has an effect of strengthening the phenomena. So you are going to have thousands of people there talking about the beast of LBL, talking about the weird things that go on around there, thinking about it after they leave the festival. And you always wonder, what does that increased mental attention, what sort of effect does it have on the actual phenomena that are out there? Well, let's find out. Damn it. It's going to be awesome. So this is going to be a good thing, man. We're really psyched about this.
And we always have a blast at events, and we're not doing many events this year at all. We actually, Joe and I made a commitment very early on to not do any events this year.
We weren't really going to do any more past the camp out that's coming up just because we're so tight on time. But when we spoke to them about this, we decided, no, this is something we want to do. We want to build some, continue to build relationships in the area, which will assist us with the investigations that are coming up. It's a net positive. We're really super excited about it. So City Witch, also a member for 6 months. Thank you. Everybody's flexing tonight, man. Even MK says he's doing this under peer pressure. Aaliyah, thank you very much for that. We appreciate you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And then our buddy Cornbread. Dan, Elon, Space Force, Internet. About pull what's left of my head fur out. Hope y'all are having an evening. Looking well kept, Joe. I would mention Jessie, but she's a married lady. She is a married woman. Honest. I made an honest woman out of her. Finally. So...
but yeah, we're super excited. And a lot of pivotal moments for our channel, for this project, have taken place at the LBL. So I think it's fitting that we do this conference and that we participate in this and make it the success that it absolutely will be. We launched our channel memberships at the LBL. That's when we kind of solidified this. I made this sort of like made it official. That's where we filmed Dogman territory with Small Town Monsters, established that relationship, and really got in front of a lot of you. And that's where Dogman, the werewolf experiments was done. And I think that was some of y'all's first time seeing us was with werewolf experiments. That was our first major project that we produced.
This comment right here is my favorite memories of Joe and Jesse investigating at night in the LBL. The LBL, the werewolf experiments, the first time all over the place. First time we went to the LBL, it was just a standard, let's run around with the camera and see what the hell we can see.
I was bitten by the largest tick in the world. And I think I cut that out of the video, but there was a tick. It was this big and it was crawling up my neck. And so that's the highlight.
Now on that first outing, we got an interesting couple of thermal images, you know what I'm saying, that we don't know what they are.
Yeah.
Some people have tried to tell us that it's just a tree. It's apparently a very hot, oddly shaped moving tree, if that's the case. We can't say it's a Dogman, but it's something that when you look at it into the context of what we viewed, it was something upright, about my height or taller, with very large pointed ears, looking at us from just a gully right next to where we were. And then it disappeared when it realized we knew it was there. But the werewolf experiments, when we went back for that, I think that's where Hellbent Holler really kicked into like high gear.
That's where we really hit our stride. And I think it's where we started to get a little more complex with what we did in terms of our ability to capture what we're doing on camera and then edit it and tell a story and really bring the audience along on a real investigation. It became more than just us going into the woods and running around the woods. It became, let's try something new.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That's where we kind of broke out of the bonds of just what everybody else was doing.
Right.
That's when we really started to go, the same approach that everybody takes and they've taken for decades is not getting us any results. Let's just start doing whatever in the hell we want to here. Let's try different stuff. We tried the scent experiment out there.
Yeah.
And what's weird is that we could not try the scent experiment without running into weather complications.
Every single time.
Unforeseen weather complications. So we've got a new take on the scent experiment that we're going to be launching. Matter of fact, the gentleman that so graciously supplied us with something, we got to get in touch with him, by the way. Yep. But we've got some new stuff in the books. But the werewolf experiments is when it really, Hellbent Holler became Hellbent Holler. The weird stuff, the weird experiments, trying to like branch out into different techniques and introduce new technology into it. That's where we really kind of, I think, found our footing and just went, we don't care what the rest of the research community is doing. Best of luck to all of them. I hope they do well. I hope somebody cracks this eventually. But there's enough people doing X and we want to do Y now. And that's where we really took off at. So a couple quick more things here. And you guys are going
I know, they're going
tonight.
nuts.
You guys are going, Old Henry, keep up the good work. Y'all very enjoyable. Thank you, my man. Old Henry's been around for a long, long time. Rick Skinner, when's the next portal open? Hopefully not around us anytime soon. Bruce Bieber for the MK Deviled Egg Fund.
Is that what he's bringing to the Hellbent Hood?
Probably so. And then Kathy Music, new member. Thank you so much for joining the membership.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you for joining up.
Beans and batteries and Band-Aids.
Beans and batteries and Band-Aids. I love it.
Our buddy Bigfoot Michigan Rob.
Hello,
popping
Rob.
in. And then Shock. You're the best. We appreciate you, my man. So y'all are going crazy with it.
Losing it.
Before we get into stuff, Cornbread got another comment question. Just food for thought. If y'all actually found a Bigfoot body or busted a cap in one, what's the next step and how would you get it out? We've actually discussed this before.
We think that maybe it might be best just to take a part.
Take a couple parts. There's a reason why I usually have a giant Bowie knife on me in a lot of cases. We would try to get something easily separatable, easily transportable, something that would, in that case, if we come across a body, it's a flesh and blood species at that point. From somewhere, maybe ain't here, but we would try to take a couple teeth, hand, and then we would literally try to get the hell out of Dodge at that point. We would literally, because you always hear those stories that's why people don't report shooting them, because a lot of times people look at them and they think that they look too human, or they're just overcome with like the horror and the majesty of what they're seeing at that point. Other people go, well, sometimes people do shoot at them. They just don't make it out of the woods because it's always the ones that you don't see. But I've got to be honest with you, even knowing that, we'd have to try to get something out. We'd have to try to get something.
For sure.
I think a hand, because it'd be a little bit more difficult to get a foot off, I think.
Well,
a hand,
thankfully, too.
A kind of gruesome topic tonight, but
well,
like
let's come out the
Dexter hunts Bigfoot here. But they
hopefully also we would have footage of us discovering this or busting said cap.
Yeah. So we would but it's weird because I don't know, man. Maybe it's where I'm at. Maybe I used to think a lot differently. Nowadays, we approach this like a couple of photo journalists, amateur photo journalists. We want to try to get really good video. We're doing pretty good on audio right now. We've got some thermal stuff, but we want to try to get that next Patterson Gimlin film.
Yeah.
And I know people will go, well, people will just write it off as AI. Well, yeah, people write off small clips. 10, 13, 15-second clips as AI. If you've got a longer piece that shows the lead up to it, has context, shows what happened afterwards, that's going to carry a lot more weight. So we don't really go out there looking to do that. I mean, we carry, self-defense with us, things to defend ourselves with. But that's one of the things I always come back to is that, if we have like a Class A sighting, I think we'll just be lucky just to get the cameras up and get the heck out of there at that point.
Yeah,
man. So,
I hope so. And we've gotten very good about constantly filming everything, having multiple devices going at once, running really good audio collection. That's how we got the vocalizations that we got in the URIs. That's how we got what we got in Sumter. Is we're just trying to up our game constantly, improve our evidence collection techniques and our technology as we go along.
Where were we at when I was running 3 cameras at once? Literally. Camera in my
everywhere,
chest, camera in each hand, and I was just going, damn, I'm dead.
Oh, I think, you know what? I think we were in the LBL.
Yeah. I think it was in this last trip. Gardening Dragon, the LBL docs is where I found you all. Your kinetic style is what I found refreshing. That is our thing, is that we have tried, man, life would be easier if we could just do stakeouts. Put up a couple lawn chairs.
Or steak houses.
Investigate some steakhouses.
I'd like to do that.
So, but if we could do some stakeouts, man, I would feel so much better Monday morning than what I usually feel. But it.
That doesn't move the needle.
The kinetic approach is that you can turn on YouTube any night of the week and find people sitting around in lawn chairs, doing howls, maybe banging on a stick. And I'm just going, no, you need a kinetic approach. Get out there, stir something up. You ain't sneaking up on anything. You are not sneaking up on anything. You're too loud. Really? Do you think whispering would help a little bit here, man?
Do you think I know how to whisper?
But it's just that get out there, see if you can make something curious or piss something off enough to get it close enough where we just get that magic moment, get that lightning in a bottle footage, and all of a sudden walk out going, y'all can eat it. There is something out here. So... All right, what else we got here? Man,
oh my gosh. There's some funny comments. I love this one. Joe Doyle, cryptid mohel. You know what a mohel is?
I have no clue what a mohel is.
That is that's the one deemed to circumcise.
Oh, okay. Well, deemed to circumcise. I don't know how I feel about that. Anyway. Talking about that Mike Green dough trick.
Oh, man. Mike Green is just so cool.
Gets cooler.
He's just so cool.
And if you guys remember, what we're talking about is that when we did the URI doc, right around that time, I think it was like a little bit before, they came out saying that Mike Green, the URI National Forest Bigfoot researcher that caught the squeaky thermal that we showed a couple seconds of in the Small Town Monsters URI doc.
Yeah.
His plan out west was take dead deer and put pipe bombs in them. And then when the Bigfoot comes up, blow it up. And
this is just cryptid terrorism.
It is cryptid terrorism. But you know what? Here's the deal. If you want to make an omelet, you got to
break a few eggs.
You got to blow up a few deer with pipe bombs. So
I like his style, because you could tell he was just kind of starting to get more and more unhinged because he was obsessive with it.
Yeah, you got to be obsessive with it.
It's hard to believe that anybody can see one of these things, have a Class 8 sighting, and then they don't just become completely obsessed and overcome with the desire to actually document one of these things. That's what I find crazy is somebody who says, "Oh, I've seen them 3 times," and it's just like you go about your normal life,
and that's just it.
And that's just it. There was back in the day, becoming a Bigfoot researcher, a hardcore Bigfoot researcher, was a death knell for your marriage and your life as you knew it. Nowadays, it's kind of like a retirement hobby, I guess. But, back in the day when people would just get obsessed with it, it was destructive of many a marriage, wasn't it?
It was. And that's a common trope. Who was it? Rene DeHinden that lost his whole family, because he just, and we're obsessive. Luckily you and I are both obsessive. If we were married to normal people, we would not have been married to normal people.
I was about to say, when is that going to happen?
Too long, but, I'm looking through here. Let's see. What do we got? That's what I was looking for, baby. French William Kennedy is just the best, absolute best.
It's a gift.
It's a gift. He is a gift.
All right, we're gonna roll into our topic du jour. We're really excited about this. So recently on Newsmax? It was Newsmax. Ross Coulthart had an interesting little Q&A session Look, I like when I go to my notes page.
So
the light.
Russ Coulthart is a Australian journalist. What's the name of his book? I just completely faced on that. But he's interviewed a lot of like really high level government officials.
And he's been really hardcore on the subject of UAPs recently. Now, little disclaimer here, there has been quite a bit of trust me, bro, when it comes to some things that he talks about. But that doesn't make this any less interesting. One of his biggest things that came out recently was that egg-shaped UFO debacle.
He was responsible for bringing out, and I've already forgotten his name. I guess because I moved away from like so much of the UAP stuff.
Because there was too much trust me, bro.
It's just too much trust me, bro. Again, our thing is just, and that's the thing that it drives me crazy in the Bigfoot world, but it is what it is. But I guess I expected more from the UAP topic, UFOs, because all of a sudden you're having all of these hearings and you got a few video clips that sounded okay, but then all of a sudden we're supposed to be having all of these like whistleblowers who weren't really whistleblowers. They were approved spokesmen to come out and say stuff. And it was just constantly increasingly crazy claims. That's why we carry all these cameras, because if we experience something, we want to share it. We want to go, here's the documentation that what we experienced actually happened. So the trust me, bro thing always just irks me, always just irks me. Couldn't you have at least gotten bad footage of it as opposed to like no footage at all? Something, give me a little something. But anyway, we moved out of it. But Russ Coulthart, he's done a book called In Plain Sight. He's one of the main, I'd say probably 10 UFO talking heads nowadays. He's kind of right up there. I think as far as like people who were not previously affiliated with the government, he's kind of right up there with Jeremy Corbell.
Yeah.
As far as like from a civilian standpoint. Now he's a journalist. He supposedly has a lot of different people that feed him information that he can't say who they are because it'll burn his source and everything like that. But he made
we have sources like that too. And if you're a journalist of any kind, you have a whole long list of sources that you can't burn. And that's journalism ethics 101.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people get very frustrated when he comes out with these statements and doesn't have a lot to back them up. But with the nature of what this is, when it comes to UAPs, when it comes to government secrets, you can't just let the cat out of the bag and burn your sources left and right.
But then here's
you
the deal.
Won't have any.
Then don't offer that information up. We're not talking about somebody who was just hiking one day and saw a Bigfoot.
Right.
And was so shocked. It wasn't until after the encounter was over that they thought about, oh my Lord, I had my phone with me the whole time, but I've got a photo. The whole thing that made the UAP topic have some meat to the bones was the fact that you're dealing with very high level government people, both in the military and in the intelligence communities. And you would think with what they were promising that there was going to be some substance there. And some things came out and a lot of them are debatable. I still think that egg thing is goofy. We busted on it then. I'm going to bust on it now. That did not, if I was going, I'm saying such high level, just earth shattering, I'm making these statements and this is what I'm going to do to bring it out. I'd go, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to be a laughingstock. That shows me a lack of like critical thinking that makes me then
and discernment there.
Yeah, it makes me.
And I understand getting so excited that, okay, maybe I have something here. Getting so excited that you lose sight of, is this real or not? Should I dig into this further before I release this? Because it really does hurt your credibility when it comes to it.
Yeah.
Booberry has a good point here. The hoaxes were bad too. The Panama alien and the guy who drilled the UAP. I mean, and it seems like, is this like some sort of control disinformation campaign at the same time? Who is in the pocket? Who is somebody that is spreading this disinformation on purpose?
I don't even think they need to go that far to do that anymore.
They just, do it.
No, they just tweak the algorithm and they give more of a platform to people that are doing things that they want to muddy the waters.
In terms of, if you can relate it to, say, the Bigfoot world, would you have somebody doing that? You wouldn't even have to. You have so many people out there who will go on 5 shows a day talking about crazy stuff that makes the rest of people who are looking at Bigfoot look like crazy people.
Well, we're all crazy people. And that's always been ever since like the spiritualist movement in the 1800s. I mean, it's always had it's never been a reputable topic for polite society.
Right.
But my thing is this, is that I kind of moved away from the UAP stuff just because the constant just promises that never came through. Like, but then Ross made a comment, made a throwaway comment this week. Because there's a whole nother little thing going on where apparently they're claiming that there's alien bodies under a Mexican church. And there's some recovery team. And I don't even have that story. I came across that
looking into
the thing we're talking about tonight. And I'm going, all right, that's a show for another day. I ain't getting sidetracked for once. And he made some comment, and he's talking about the fact that the guys who were looking under this church in Mexico for these alien bodies, some of them have had some health issues.
Yeah.
He shared the idea that they had been exposed to some sort of like portal energy, whatever in the hell that is, and that had caused these health issues. And then, just as a little side note, like this little bomb that he drops, Ross Coulthart says that he has just been to an area in the United States, continental United States, where a portal is present.
And I transcribed what he said here.
Why don't you read exactly, because we're not going to play the clip because I don't want to get...
Yeah. But I do have a link to the Q&A session he did with Newsmax. I do have that linked in the description of this video if you want to check it out. And I have it that'll go to this point. But I'll just read you exactly what he said, and we'll go from there. But one thing I want to throw out here, I want to cause a bit of mischief with the U.S. government. I have just been somewhere in the United States where I know there is another portal, and I know the United States knows about it. And I was there just the other day, and guess what? There's a big fence around it, lots of security signs, supposedly U.S. Forest Service. But you know what? It's not. And it's supposedly ruins of an ancient tribal art. And you know what? It's not. What's happening is the United States is using the U.S. Forest Service and claims the protection of archaeological relics to keep the secret from the public, a portal on U.S. soil.
So, again, that's a pretty jackball move, just dropping something like that and then moving off, okay? Because he knows people are going to want more information from it, all right? And maybe he can't give that information, but his claim is basically this. He knows a portal is there. He doesn't suspect. He hasn't heard. He knows a portal is there.
And he knows that the U.S. Forest Service is an arm of the government that is used in a nefarious way to protect and cover up the existence of this portal.
So
where do we go?
As soon as we heard that, we both just went, huh? Because that's not something you usually hear in the UAP, the UFO world. You don't hear the Forest Service and secrecy and cover-ups bandied about there. Usually it's the, Atomic Energy, Commission. It's, the Navy, the Air Force, Homeland Security. You don't usually hear the Forest Service. But again, if you're dealing with something that's not airborne, okay, or has the ability to basically leave our atmosphere, like with UAPs, or go out of our dimension into something else. If you're dealing with something that would be stationary, relatively stationary, I mean, he didn't say a portal was there. He said a portal is there.
Yeah.
There's a portal, meaning that it has some sense of permanency to it.
And they're using the guise of protecting archaeological sites.
And well, we've ran into stuff like that.
Yes,
before.
100%.
I mean, we've ran into stuff like that before.
That was my first thought is as Banana Town as this sounds, at the same time, we've been out in these areas that are run and managed by the U.S. Forest Service that we find things like that we find areas that are fenced off for seemingly no reason. We find signage. In one of our research areas, we've actually encountered a large fence and signage that indicate that you cannot go past that point due to sensitive archaeological elements in the area, and that you cannot disturb them or go beyond that area.
We've ran into that. And here's what's crazy is that stuff like that happens, like mundane stuff. There are genuine areas like the caves that we found, or the mines that we found in the Uwari, with the giant metal bars over them. Maybe something's in there.
But that's also insanely dangerous.
It's also insanely dangerous. And there's a real reason for that. You know what I'm saying? To me, that looked like and we're talking about the monster on Morris Mountain Dock, the Bigfoot in the Uwharrie, when MK took us to where the caves were. And my thought was, because Sasquatch had been seen coming out of holes in the ground there. And in that area, and we found some areas where the barriers leading into these caves, one of them had been pulled out and then pushed back in. It was like held in place with a rock, that we couldn't pick up.
Yeah.
But I was going, I don't think that they were always here, Bigfoot. I don't think Bigfoot were always in these mines and caves and they put barricades up. I think that they were barricaded for safety, and then maybe Sasquatch came along and went, well, people ain't getting in here. This is a great place to lay low during the course of the day. But we found other things too. And as soon as we heard Forest Service, we're like, the hell? I mean, LBL, we're talking about the LBL earlier in the show. When the rivers were flooded and the land between the rivers became the land between the lakes, the Tennessee Valley Authority was in charge of it. And it was ran with the idea of trying to really boost outdoor recreation through there. And it was going to be a source of income for the surrounding municipalities, the surrounding counties and towns. And that incoming money would offset the harm that was done to the families that were kicked off that land. Well, that was kind of going along, and then the Forest Service took over. And then when the Forest Service took over, all of that stopped. And a lot of the mystery that we have explored there, that's when a lot of it came about.
A lot of unanswered questions started popping up at that point of why would you allow something like the observation tower that was built upon a silo? Why would you allow that to remain if that was a hazard? But then you would totally wreck an entire campground and remove every trace of it ever existing. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of very strange things that pop up that make people want to go in the direction that there is a cover-up of some kind of strange activity, whether it be high strangeness, cryptids, whatever, that this is happening, and the Forest Service is the arm in which covers up everything.
But so the Forest Service is under the banner of the United States Department of Agriculture. And you remember, we've talked about it on the show before. UFOs have the men in black. Well, Bigfoot had the men in plaid, dudes in plaid shirts who would show up after Bigfoot sightings when people had made an official report, showing up going, hey, yeah, you saw a bear. And they would become varying degrees of threatening to reinforce to people that you didn't see a Bigfoot, you're going to cause yourself a lot of problems. But they were the ones who kind of came in to do damage control afterwards. And they were supposedly employees of the United States Department of Agriculture. So we have also seen other areas. One area we were in, and there's decent sized gates and fences, and it's claiming that there is a phone thing, Bell South or something like that? AT&T. There were like AT&T facilities, and it was a felony to go past these fences and blah, 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 blah. And there was a number on there to call. Well, you called the number and it didn't do anything. It looked like something from the Cold War, man. But
signage was
new. Signage was fairly new, and you could just tell that nobody was going in there.
What was weird too was the signage was fairly new, but it said call collect, didn't it?
It did. That's what it was. It said call collect.
What was weird
and we just tried the number and it just didn't do anything. So, we have seen this before, and we're going, damn, maybe that is the explanation for some of these areas. And maybe that's why sometimes the secrecy kind of lessens a little bit. Mm-hmm. Maybe sometimes the conditions that were there that were a cause for secrecy, maybe sometimes it lessens and goes away after a while.
As people begin to forget, right?
Well, I'll tell you this, that Ross Coulthart did not give the location of this area where a portal supposedly. And here's the deal. It's when
can I admit something here?
What's that?
Because we make fun of people who say supposedly. Now I can't say supposedly.
I can't either. I'm doing it all the time.
And I was reading it off the screen, and I wanted to say supposedly so bad because we say that to each other. Supposedly.
We've doomed ourselves.
And now we've ruined ourselves to make that mistake.
So
Carry on.
I forgot where I was going to.
So supposedly,
So he didn't say where it was, but he said that the Forest Service, either the Forest Service itself or another U.S. agency working under the banner of the U.S. Forest Service, was keeping this area off limits, and it was using the excuse that there was Native American cultural artifacts in there that needed to be protected, and that's why you couldn't go in. And he said that's not the case. Well, people that are familiar, is it Bradshaw Ranch?
I think that's the one you mentioned.
I don't really get into the
ranches.
ranches.
We were trying to figure out what are these locations that he could be talking about, and there's a couple of candidates that immediately came to mind.
Bradshaw Ranch is in Sedona, Arizona. It's really tied in with like UFO lore. Bradshaw Ranch has had a lot of orb activity, UFO activity, but there has been rumors for years that there was a portal on site. Bradshaw Ranch has got a real Skinwalker Ranch type thing to it.
You said it's in Arizona?
Yeah, Sedona. So
it's one of the new age capitals of the world, you know.
Exactly. So the guy who owned it sold it, and it went into a land trust, from what I understand. And then that land trust gave it to the Forest Service. Okay. So now you can't go into this area because they have planted they're doing some sort of like native plant reintroduction there, but you can't go in there. And that's why, because you'll hurt the native plants. So you can go around it, but you can't go into the area where the portal supposedly is. So as soon as they said this, I just went, wait, I remember hearing a story about that. And I looked it up, and it was the Bradshaw Ranch. So there's another place now. Now that is because of the introduction of like native plants that I guess are endangered in that area. That's the excuse. As far as I could tell, there was no tie-in to any sort of like Native American artifacts or pictograph, rock carvings and everything like that. So it seems like there's another place that's like this.
The first thing that came to my mind was the Grand Canyon. So you've got that part on the Colorado River, the little Colorado River, that is it's like a Sipapu. It's a Hopi Indian Sipapu, which is supposed to be the origin of humanity. According to their lore, that is the point in the earth in which their ancestors crawled out of a portal from another place. So that's the first thing that came to mind for me. There's also a lot of Hopi carvings out there. There's a lot of rock art out there. That's the first thing that came to my mind, but there's no guards or fences around that whole thing. So, but there's a lot of places that this could be. There's even places in, say, like in Ohio, say Serpent Mound. That's got fences and everything on it, but people go visit that every day.
I think it's an area where you can lock down. Now the LBL, again, we said this, I think, in the werewolf experiments video where I went, they don't have it gated off, but short of gating the area off, they've made it as unattractive to come to as possible.
Yeah, you said gating it off or dynamiting the bridges.
Dynamiting the bridges. And now here's the deal. When we were there last time, total change. Now, all of a sudden, there's a real big push to get more people in there. Now, I still stand by this, that all that seemed to come about after that giant hog hunt that we saw there that time. It seems like everything changed after that.
That seems like that was certainly a turning point. And there's the LBL that we knew before that excursion up there and the LBL we know now. And there's such a marked difference between that LBL and the time difference there is what, a year and a half?
Yeah.
No, 28 months.
Yeah.
28 months, because that's when we launched everything. So yeah, 28 months. So you're looking at 28 months between the old LBL and what we saw this last excursion up there. And there's been such a difference in how things are managed. It's way more professional up there. You have way more visitors. You have new signage. It looks like there's an influx of resources up there. There's also more law enforcement around.
Yeah. So another area that we don't do a lot publicly on is Blackthorn.
Oh, yes. Which we've drawn many parallels to the LBL with.
Our research area, Blackthorn, has a lot of parallels with the Land Between the Lakes. There was obviously a lot of money being dumped into there to provide an infrastructure for outdoor recreation. And then all of a sudden, it just looks like they stopped mid-project, walked away, gated a lot of the land off. There's a lot of, I can't get too, there's nearby, there's a huge swath of privately held land that it's kind of murky who owns it. And it's posted and there's towers around it that aren't hunting blinds. It's very weird. The whole area is very weird. But one of the areas that we were trying to get into, this is like, for the Southeast, it's about as remote as you can get, you know? And we saw they ran power into this one area. And so something's drawing power in there, and there's signs up saying you can't go past these signs because, again, it was like native wildflowers had been reintroduced into the area, but it was a felony if you went in. And to speak to a park ranger, and this isn't a park. There's no park ranger to speak to. And I'm going, it's like they made this sign as frightening and as hard to comprehend and carry out the instructions as possible. To cut down.
There is no park ranger to contact about any. If you have any questions, contact a park ranger.
And there's power going in there. So we're going, do they have cameras in here? You know, are there cameras up? And so yeah, we haven't risked it. We haven't risked it. But I'm going, this is awful weird just for you're reintroducing native flowers. Okay. You're introducing native plants to this area. That just seems like a excuse that kind of stays right in line with what Ross Coulthart was talking about. Oh, it's Native American artifacts. You can't come in, you know? And the fact that the Forest Service is doing this, you know, because the Forest Service, they have their own, you know, armed law enforcement agents. Now, the thing around Sedona with Bradshaw Ranch is that people were reporting running into like legit military units there with no insignia. That's kind of a mainstay with a lot of these stories that you always get, but that they were running in and being literally forced off at gunpoint. Again, is that the Forest Service doing that? No, it's probably somebody acting under, you know, the canopy of the Forest Service, trying to use that as a cover agency. Although here at the same token, we don't know what the hell is going on with the Forest Service. Maybe the Forest Service has got something going on with that. Remember the Forest Service
don't they seem like they're the most unassuming like branch of
We talked to the one lady at the LBL who's a Forest Service employee, and I'm like, y'all are supposed to have underground military bases around here. And she goes, they don't tell us that. I must have missed that day on orientation.
I'm wearing the wrong color shirt to have that knowledge. Yeah.
So, but it makes me wonder so this is a pattern now. This is not just a one-off story. Possibly happened at Bradshaw Ranch, possibly happened. And again, that's very strong. That's what I hate about a lot of this UFO stuff. Remember how we described what we caught on thermal at the beginning of the show?
Yeah.
Might have been a Dogman, might have been something else. We don't know. We haven't been able to explain it. We didn't come out and definitively go, we caught a thermal image of Dogman in the land between the lakes, because we don't know that. We didn't see it with our naked eye. But to go, I know a portal is there. How do you know a portal is there? Did somebody just tell you a portal was there? Okay, then maybe there's a portal there. Did you legit see the portal?
My favorite part is I want to cause a bit of mischief with the U.S. government, that he opened the statement with that, you know. And this was, by the way, no one asked him anything about this. This was completely unprompted.
Put it in, man.
He put it in. This is after the discussion about the Mexican church and the possible thing under the Mexican church. This just came out of nowhere during this Q&A session. And, it's time for me to cause a bit of mischief with the U.S. government. Oh, yeah, everybody wants to do a little bit of that, especially around tax season, right?
But it's just it's a pattern. And it makes me wonder if are different agencies of the government responsible for basically covering up different things, or are they not even really tasked with that? It's just that the Forest Service encounters the stuff that the Forest Service is in charge of.
And the Forest Service is maybe in charge of the areas that might be considered what John Keel referred to as these window areas. And that's what we've experienced in a lot of these places that we go and we investigate. We do a lot of our investigations on public lands that turn out to be what appear to be window areas. We experience a variety of phenomena. It seems like that's an area where the veil is thinner. There are these, and let's go to this question here because this kind of goes into that. Those are areas, those are public lands. That also means they can be shut down by the Forest Service.
Oh yeah, they can shut them down at a moment's notice.
A lot of these things are not occurring on private property where somebody goes, pay a quarter to come see the portal. You know what I'm saying? It's in these places that could be tightly controlled. It's these natural areas that also often have these natural features that are the result of great geological upheaval, such as here. This is wild ass theory territory.
Give me a what sound for this?
Oh, well, let me go over here. You go ahead and read it then. I'll pull these up.
What territory? What Jesse said about the Grand Canyon. What if this is the lore in places in the southeast similar to the Grand Canyon, like Linville Gorge in North Carolina? Breaks Park, Virginia, Kentucky, Pine Creek Gorge, Pennsylvania. What? Linville Gorge has got a lot of weird stuff. Our buddy Deathwish does a lot of digging and exploring up through there, and you need to check out his channel. I don't know what all he's put on his channel. He shared some of this on Facebook and whatnot, but this is a guy who is like, I hate to use the word term, like boots on the ground, but that's explains
toes in the mud.
Toes in the he is like out there climbing like mountains with like clothesline and like shorts. You know what I'm saying? So he like puts us to shame.
You make it sound like he's like the Jed Clampett of mountaineering.
So he's found like rock carvings and stuff like that really challenges like the status quo for a lot of stuff.
And it also, some of the things he's discovered also shines a new light on the structure of some of these societies and beliefs of some of these societies that really flies in the face of commonly accepted knowledge about how the societies that were here prior to European colonization, how they operated, what they believed in, and what kind of crazy stuff they got up to.
Well, there was a couple years ago, there was actually a whistleblower with the Forest Service. Let me see if I can pull this up. And he was claiming that the Forest Service was doing a lot of cover-ups of like of pre-Columbian like tribal sites that were located within public lands like that, and that the Forest Service was covering up the existence of those, A, because they didn't want to manage them, B, because a lot of times those areas were slated to be logged, everything like that, but that they were covering it up for pretty mundane reasons.
Yeah.
And they were basically really kind of like covering evidence up. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Scott Ashcraft in Western North Carolina. He claimed he knew Western North Carolina's woods contained crucial information about human history in the Appalachian Mountains. His attempts to alert forest managers were ignored. And basically, they were just doing logging. They were cutting trails wherever they want to. They would do fire planning and basically just go, well, this doesn't fit with our agenda, so we're going to cover it up.
Yeah.
So that's covering up because something's inconvenient. So we think that they wouldn't cover up something that would really like challenge the foundations of our reality, like a portal at this point. So there's a precedent for it. There's a precedent for it with people coming forward claiming that the Forest Service does this. And then now we have multiple areas that seem to have strange management by the Forest Service.
And a lot of these coincide with places that fit our pattern as well. That seem like they are these window areas.
And there was something I started here. Let me pull this up. That is right, EDP. My understanding is it's apparently not accessible. You can take a driving tour around it.
Is that the same as the driving tour around North Korea's?
Possibly, yeah. There's a field fenced off. And again, here's the deal. What I'm seeing is that people are claiming that the areas that are blocked off are where the portals are at. I know that to be true, just like I know
Wally World's closed today, folks.
I know that to be true, just to the same level that I know what Ross Coulthart's saying is to be true. But it's just similar claims in different places. And when you see that, you kind of start to pay attention to it at that point. At least I do. So let's see what else we got here. There was another. Walter, how did the Forest Service discover the portal? I don't know. That's the thing. is that was a real drive-by kind of a-hole move just to kind of go, I know that there is a portal there. Well, come on, man.
This is dickball portal behavior.
Yeah, jackball portal behavior. He just basically said that there was a portal there
DPB.
and that they were covering it up. So no explanation of whether it was a recent development, if this was something that had been there forever and they just found it, if it was something that somebody just stumbled across, if it was something in a very hard to access area and maybe there had just been nobody through there and they just stumbled across it. I don't know. And it's weird because the only thing we've really come across like that is we had that burning light incident.
Yeah, Castleberry brought this up earlier, is we had the burning light incident, and that's the only time we've really seen anything that could be described as such, as a portal. That's something that just manifested in the center of the woods out of nowhere. There was no indication anything was there until all of a sudden it just was there, and it was large. It was I said it was about the size probably of a VW Beetle.
Yeah, it grew and grew and grew, and then it lifted up into the air. And
we still have no explanation what that could have been. Now, we're not going to say hard and fast, this is a portal. We saw a portal. That's just the closest thing that we can kind of deduce.
Or a UAP. I mean, it's a small dot of light. It showed up on the thermal. It didn't light any of the surrounding trees up. It was a
self-contained light. And
then it grew, and we could basically see figures move. You didn't see them because I'm taller than you, but I had a better vantage of it, and it looked like there were figures moving around it. And I'm like, I think there's people there. And who knows? It might have been people there. I don't know what they were doing. If a group of people has the ability to summon a expanding ball of self-contained light and then have it levitate up into the air, I don't know. But what do you got? Swamp gas in the woods.
Yeah, and where was I going to go with it?
I don't know. So let's see what our scribe here has.
Scribe.
I could talk for hours about how wrong early European proto-anthropologists completely misconstrued Native American societies and culture, and that continued even into the 20th century. That's the thing, is that
and then the refusal to go back and say, okay, maybe we were wrong, and looking at their societies through the cultural lens that they had at the time and the assumptions that these people had at the time really, really skews the history as we know it.
Well, in alchemy skills, I want to know how the U.S. government identifies a portal. Is it something they picked up on, like instrumentation? You know, like maybe something that's looking for like radiation. They go, we've got a radiation spike in the woods of Kentucky. We need to go out there and check it out. And, I'm assuming like some sort of like nuclear energy, like security team would like respond to that, because they would be able to like fight their way to it if they needed to, and then possibly at least have the knowledge to do something with it after they got it. Maybe that's how they discovered it. Did somebody just stumble across it? Was it something that they've known about for a while and it's gotten stronger in recent years and they couldn't hide it, so they needed to expand the kind of like no-go zone around it at this point? I'm just saying that I don't know why, because all the trust me bro stuff irks me, but this one today, we heard about it today. Yeah. I guess he said it a few days ago. This really struck me as going, this might be something. This actually might be something. You don't usually.
Maybe he wants the right people to be like, whoa, hang on, wait a minute, what? And start turning some stones, perhaps.
I don't know, but
I remember what I was going to talk about. We talked about the burning light, the alleged portal, whatever. We're going to label it as such. We don't know what it was. Somebody mentioned earlier, so would the Brown Mountain Lights, would that be considered a UAP? The Brown Mountain Lights are very akin to what we saw in the North Georgia mountains.
And Deathwish, our buddy Deathwish, again, got obsessed. He's an obsessive dude like we are. He got obsessed with the Brown Mountain Lights.
But it behaved in a very similar way to what we saw in the North Georgia mountains with the burning light. It comes into existence and then rises into the sky and then behaves strangely.
But my thing is that the thing in North Georgia, the burning light, was more, I don't know if solid is the right word for it. It did not, Death Wish thinks that the Brown Mountain Lights are basically plasma, living plasma. Okay. And I'm probably butchering it. He's probably changed his mind since then because he's looked into it a lot more than most people. But whatever that light was in North Georgia, and again, I don't know whether to call it a portal because a portal wouldn't grow and float in the air. That's kind of UAP stuff.
Right.
But it didn't. I remember looking at it, not going.
Oh, according to what? Like, what is your standard of that's a UAP versus a portal?
Well, I mean, it was unidentified and it was in the air. But when I looked at it in that moment, I didn't go, my God, we're seeing a UFO.
Right.
It was just, I don't know what I'm looking at right now. Did these figures just come out of this or are they going into it? Because we didn't know where the figures were when the light moved off. That's why I made you get out of there, because I'm going, whatever those figures were, if they didn't leave with that, they're in the woods around us right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have our GPS. We just kind of walked up here for a few minutes. We need to get out, and then we need to get the camera out with the footage that we've got on it right now.
Right.
So
Appalachian Magic goes, they should say, trust me, Joe.
Trust me, Joe.
I like that one.
Yeah, like Surviving the Strange says, there's regular nuclear detection flights over the U.S. And I wonder what else they're finding. Are they finding other stuff?
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
we have found,
are some of those flights?
We have found radiation anomalies in some of these areas that we've experienced high strangeness. You know, could there be something that puts off that kind of radiation when a portal opens up?
Some of those nuclear detection flights, are they looking for something else too? And that's the cover that they're using at this point. It wouldn't be a very big effort. But again, you know, there's so many branches of the United States government. A lot of times the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing. A lot of this stuff is very stovepiped. There's a lot of like blockages between different agencies or even different groups within a singular agency that it'd be easy for stuff like this to go unnoticed.
Yeah.
People always go, well, the government's really bad at like keeping secrets. And I'm like, when it's the whole government. Yeah. A very small, dedicated subgroup of the government with the risk of death if you like talk too much. Yeah, they probably keep a secret really damn well at this point. So
perhaps it's so compartmentalized though they don't know what they're dealing with.
Well, they say that about the UAP stuff.
Who is dealing with what? Booberry said maybe a kid fell into the portal, like the little girl who fell down the well. How perfectly like full circle would everything be if I fell into a portal?
Until you exactly
because of baby Jessica. What if baby Jessica fell into the portal?
National sensation. Bruce Beaver, some folks believe that the metal door banging sound is a portal opening. And you know, when we caught that sound in Sumter National Forest, I can't say that's what it was. I don't know how anybody, unless somebody saw a portal opening up, heard that sound simultaneously. I think it's a good guess. But we didn't
experience anything. Didn't we experience any sort of like high strangeness during all of that? I mean, we experienced some.
Y'all heard a hum.
You had some electrical interference of some kind. MK, we did have things, but they weren't included in the documentary. But you had a lot of equipment problems.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it seems like that some of your equipment, I don't want to use the word zapped. I know we've oversaturated the word zapped at this point, but you had a lot of equipment issues. There was an electrical hum. We felt like electricity in the air, but I don't know, you know.
For those of you who haven't seen the Sumter doc, go check it out. Sasquatch in the Sumter.
Good plug.
Huh? Good plug. We, on our last night investigation there, went up to where we found a structure that looked like a nest or like a hunting blind that had been made.
We refer to it as both.
And we went up there, we hear some vocalizations followed by gunshots. And our theory was, at least in the area of the Sumter that we were in, where we were had our camp set up at, it appeared that whatever is out in those woods, and let's just for the sake of argument say Sasquatch, Bigfoot's in those woods, appeared to be coming up and kind of checking people out at camp. And we were going, all right, this is either because of the human theater theory where they watch people as entertainment, or maybe it's as simple as they need to keep tabs on people that are in this area so they can kind of go about their business undiscovered. Hear vocalizations, we hear gunshots. And we go, all of us were kind of struck with the same thought that maybe, because this national forest, like about a lot of other national forests, there's little cuts of private property in there. There's like little farms that haven't been taken over by the government, cabins, everything like that. And we're going, maybe these things got a little too close to somebody.
Yeah.
And somebody's pushing them back a little bit. Because if we're there camping and we get this idea, people that are there permanently are probably very aware of the fact that these creatures are there. And the whole area has a very weird vibe to it as far as Bigfoot goes. For an area that's around a national forest, there's none of the Bigfoot tchotchke type stuff. People don't have the Bigfoot cutouts in their yards. You don't see Bigfoot on any of the businesses you go to. It's very notable in its absence. So after that, we heard some rapid fire, like drumming or like tree knocking or something. It was very bizarre. And then we heard a couple more gunshots, but then that's when we heard that shut-dunk, that
was good.
Like a metal trap door just snapping shut.
Good approximation.
And we all just went, it sounded like a metal trap door. And it's coming from what, like maybe 15, 20 yards in front of us.
Yeah.
I'm bad at estimating distance, especially at night, but it's little copse of trees. There's no vehicle in there, man. The trees are like that close together. There's no.
Plus, we just hiked all the way. We
There's
hiked
no
in there.
vehicle
We
there.
know that there's no road right there.
It was a sizable, powerful sound. But
Yeah.
here's the deal. We didn't see any lights associated with it. We didn't experience any equipment malfunctions at that exact moment.
We all had the immediate reaction.
We had a get the hell out of Dodge feeling.
Our immediate response from all three of us, all simultaneously, was get the F out of here.
Get out of Dodge.
And that was just immediate. And usually, and like with all of us, usually there's at least one or two of us is like, oh, let's go towards it. Let's go into the whatever we're going after.
Our buddy Moondog is in the chat.
Moondog, what's up, my man?
So,
Brad Cole, thank you for that $20 super
Brad,
sticker.
thank you so much. We appreciate you. We appreciate you, buku.
William Kennedy's got it.
What's William Kennedy got?
Government CIA using ancient witchcraft and sorcery in those areas. The Thundar approach.
Why do I think that like William Kennedy needs to be on camera with a microphone in front of him, and we need to be on the other side of the computer just watching William Kennedy?
Producing the William Kennedy Hour.
That's our ticket to fame right there, baby. All right. Screw trudging around the woods with a camera.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the William Kennedy Hour. Sometimes in French, sometimes in English, depending on the time of day.
Rev says, I don't know what the metal door sound is, but more people have been hearing it in the forest. People report it a lot. And again, I know we're kind of going over familiar ground here, but that's been something that's been talked about in the Bigfoot community for a couple of decades now. And hearing this, like sometimes it's called just a door slamming, sometimes it's the metallic sound, sometimes it's a trap door slamming shut, various descriptions, and it's all basically the same thing. And and Bigfoot researchers have been hearing that occasionally. And some of them would go, oh, it's the Bigfoot are such good natural mimics. They're mimicking the sound of a door shutting for some unknown reason. My favorite one that I always bring up is that a tin metal roof has been ripped off a shed somewhere.
We had such a weird thing with the LBL in that. Torn by
tornado winds and dropped off into the woods, and the Bigfoot are using it for like an alarm or something like that.
So this is just an aside, but Joe brings this up all the time, that this is one of those crazy theories about the metal door slamming thing. Sometimes I really think that there's this trickster element that just toys with all of us all the time.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
We were going down a road, and this is in a very remote area in the LBL. We're just going down this road, and I'm glued to the window, and MK's glued to the window, and we're all just like driving along, and we see something in the woods in the distance, and there's nothing in these woods out here. There's no trash. There's nothing going on. So we see something bright in the distance. We thought it was another abandoned tent. Mm-hmm. So pull over. Joe pulls over. We jump out. We just haul butt and we run over there. And there's nothing in these woods. There's no trash. There's no debris. There's nothing. It's perfectly pristine. We haul butt over there, got the camera going. What do we find but a large piece of a metal roof just leaned up, and it's bright red, sitting in the forest, just leaned up against a tree.
Yeah.
And
miles from
everything.
Yeah. It was
And
nuts.
we made the joke about, oh, well, here's where they make that portal sound, that metal door sound.
And again, like Blueberry says, I doubt there's a metal door. Part of the explanation is that it's a legit metal trap door that's in the forest floor, and you're hearing it shut and getting back camouflage to just look like the rest of the forest floor. I guess that's possible. I don't know what it is. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is. I'll tell you that the one theory that maybe it's not a portal, but if something was kind of coming in and out of like here, like our reality, obviously if something just appears there, it's going to displace air pretty quickly. You know what I'm saying? Same thing if it had disappeared, but even that doesn't make sense. I don't know what it is, but it was weird. And we were willing to go towards the gunfire that was going off pretty indiscriminately because that's where the vocalizations were. And we were doing it carefully, but we were doing it. Whether it's smart, dumb, whatever, it doesn't really matter. We were doing it. We were willing to do that. But when the metal door sound went, and if MK's still in the chat, he can chime in, all three of us are different brands of crazy. It's very odd that one of the three of us, when it's me, Jesse, and MK, one of the three of us doesn't want to give it a shot, no matter what it is. All three of us were like, we need to get the hell out of here right now. And we just left. We left. That was the last of our investigation. We just left. I can't say we were like struck with just this overwhelming terror. We lost control of our bladders, everything like that. No. But we were all like, we need to get out of here as quickly as possible. And it was like an instantaneous, undeniable feeling of you need to unass this area as quickly as you can and get out. And that's what we did. That's what we did. That was such an irresistible sensation that we had to get out of that area. So I don't know. I heard this today, this whole thing of, I know there's a portal there and the Forest Service is doing this. And all it made me want to do is start to revisit all the areas where we've experienced that.
Yeah.
And really kind of get in there with some, some of our sensor tech, see if we can sense anything weird going on in there, man. So
I think it's just so apt too, that's something that came into, it's something that kind of came into the zeitgeist over the past couple of days, seeing as we went into an area that had been disturbed. You guys, spoiler alert, there's a video coming out, by the way, of us doing an investigation in an area that was disturbed that we think is one of these veil areas, one of these window areas where we think there might be something similar to a portal activity occurring. Yeah. So, and we were there a year ago. And I think I shared that image on Facebook today that we were in that place a year ago. And it had like one of my devices that said purgatory, so that was crazy. I know I'm just babbling now.
Bruce Beaver, Ron Moorhead and his group reported hearing it several times around the Sierra sounds. And then Blueberry goes, could be a sound like thunder, something electrical causing it. I don't know, but it was.
I didn't notice in the Sumter dock, speaking of something electrical causing it, right before we went to that area and sat down, and then we heard that noise. MK said something about an electrical hum.
He did, yeah. And that's the thing.
I did not clock that. I didn't see that until I was editing the video, and I was like, "Oh, check this out," because I didn't even realize he had said that at that point, or maybe I forgot it. I'm not sure.
Of course, Scribe showing us up. I would have ran right towards it, Joe. Like MK said, normally one of the three of us will convince the other two, but we all three just knew it was time to go. I mean, we all three instantly went, and you can see it in the dock. I go, it sounds like a metal door just coming from the woods right next to us. And then we were like, we need to get out of here. Jesse, get us out. And we just got out, gave her the GPS, and she let us out of the area, man. So primal fear. Yeah. And it was just it was something that could not be denied, if that makes sense. Could be an interesting crinkle audio effect on the tin used to cover that shallow well. But I think this is everybody's new assignment right now, is that
is this a call to action, Joseph?
Call to action thing is that we all need to keep our ears open because again, the UAP stuff interests me. It interests me in the fact that a lot of times it's related to stuff that's on the ground. Okay. There's too much satellites, Starlink, that sort of stuff. I mean, just seeing a light in the sky ain't much anymore. We want to video this weird stuff on the ground. But here's the deal is that I want to kind of try to narrow down where he's talking about. And I'm sure there's people out all over the world right now that are trying to do the exact same thing. But
yeah.
And again, here's the other thing too. You always have to temper this with this is that if they want to keep you out of an area, two weirdos like us with the camera ain't getting in the area.
Well, it's also interesting to think about this too, is in the process of us trying to narrow down, what is he specifically talking about? Who's to say that's not the only one?
Mm-hmm.
Who's to say that there isn't a whole network of these, or that there's multiple locations where this is going on, where the Forest Service is also concealing these locations with these techniques,
Yeah. And it is, I don't know. I think that Brad says, I got a friend that works with the Forest Service in the Cherokee area. Maybe he knows something he's not telling people. We've talked to just casual conversations with people that are game wardens, Forest Service, stuff like that. And sometimes they've admitted, and these are just the rank and file folks, and the people that are doing that job on the ground are usually like, they're people that have like answered a calling. They love nature. They love the environment. They're doing it out of a need to kind of like protect.
For the love of the game.
For the love of the game. They're awesome people. And obviously a lot of times they don't, they're not going to be keyed in on something like that. But we've had them admit to us before that, yeah, there's something weird going on around here. There's some weird stuff around here. The lady we spoke to at the LBL.
I was about to say,
the last lady we spoke to there, I said, when I made the joke about the underground military bases, and she goes, well, they didn't tell me anything about that. I said, but there's some weird stuff going on around here, right? It's weird here. And she goes, oh yeah, definitely. So
I've got one here. Rick Skinner says, gong. One more time.
One more time. And then give me a screaming man.
Hold on. I've got to let it trill off there.
Damn it.
It's so low. Let's get a screaming man. Jeez.
Our buddy 40 in Tennessee. We've heard a strange electrical hum in the area of the camp out that's coming up. About 1.2 miles back. Came out of nowhere. Very weird. Well, maybe all of us that will be at the camp out soon will be able to.
Hopefully we don't hear a metal door slam at the camp out.
Yeah, because we're probably getting the hell out of Dodge at that point, man. So we're wrapping it up here in a minute, folks. Yeah. Jesse's food.
It smells so good.
Smells so good. My belly's growling. Miranda Crew wanted a night check. I'm carrying my old faithful tonight. We talked earlier about maybe getting a piece of a Bigfoot to bring in if we ran into the opportunity. I usually carry like a big Bowie knife with me, but even when I don't, just because maybe the pack I'm wearing or whatever, I usually carry a large folder. This is a Cold Steel 5 Max.
That's a pretty blade, Joe.
It is heavy. It is very solid. And you can literally go all the way down on it and like use it like a little hatchet.
Brad Cole sent us a super chat earlier, so he gets this. He asked for it.
Whoop, 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 whoop. The worst whooper on the face of the damn planet.
You know what? You're the best whooper. You're my whooper.
I'm good.
Here's my knife tonight.
Me good whooper.
I've got a Cold Steel 8010. Look at that bad boy. Although I think I showed this recently, but Joe got a crazy deal on this for me. Look at that fat pocket
That's
clip.
Like the little, that's the small version.
Look at that. Isn't that cool? That's great. Smooth G10.
Anyway, everybody keep their eyes and ears open for stuff with this Forest Service portal story. And if anything comes out about it, and again, it looks like a pattern. It looks like something that might actually legit be going on, where the Forest Service is making barriers of entry into these areas where weird stuff's happening. I don't know. Anyway, lead us on out of here, Jesse, because I got to go eat.
Yeah, so don't forget Lake Barkley Beast Fest, November 13th and 14th. We will be there as the paranormal ambassadors of the LBL. We're really excited about that. There will be more details forthcoming. Until then, you can check out all the information at barkleybeastfest.com. In addition to that, do we have anything else we have to talk about?
No, that's it. Portals, Forest Service, Lake Barkley Beast Fest.
If you want to check out Ross Coulthart's interview with Newsmax, it is in the description below. I have a link to that, and it'll take you right to that part that I read, so you can hear his just throwaway comment that's weird as well. It's quite bananas, if you ask me. So you can check that out in the description below. Also is a link to Lake Barkley Beast Fest. Thank you guys for joining us. I made a pot roast tonight, and Joe and I have been sitting here dying, smelling that pot roast. I'm gonna go make some biscuits, and we're gonna have some pot roast and biscuits. But I do have a video coming out probably next week. It'll be a public release. I'm super stoked about that. We went into an area that is sort of one of these thin veil portal areas, and we got some really interesting audio while we were out there and footprints. So we're stoked to share that with you guys.
And possible thermal footage.
Yes.
So
I'm excited about that. That should be next week. So look forward to that. Thank you to everybody who super chatted tonight. All those cool little stickers.
Welcome to the new members.
Welcome to the new members.
Au revoir, Monsieur Kennedy.
Monsieur Kennedy. Écoutez à la tomate, Monsieur Kennedy. All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching Hellbent Live, and we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Take care of yourselves. And take care of each other. Right, Joe?
We're out of here.
Bye.